Well, hello there. So I know I look a little different today, as you can see. Um, but I'm not feeling well, and so there will be no webcam today. This is what you get, okay? Guys, I've been sick. My whole family has had the flu. It has not been fun, but I'm here and I'm excited to um play some video games with you. But first, before we do that, we always gotta do our Devo first. Um, AJ, welcome in with the first. Let's go. Come on. Hello, how are you today? Welcome in, you guys. How are we all doing? Hello, hello. It's so good to see you all. Oh my goodness. It's not fun being sick. It is not fun. But let's go ahead and do Devo time. I'll probably be on until like 12 something. 12, 12:30 maybe. Depends on how much I feel. So okay, let's go ahead and get started. So today is a very interesting devotional. It's called Overcoming the Enemy. So as believers, we are in a spiritual battle. But we are not fighting for victory. We are fighting from victory. Jesus, and through Jesus, the enemy has already been defeated. Our role is to stand firm, know the truth, and walk in the authority that God has given us. So, overcoming the enemy means resisting the devil, standing in God's word, and using spiritual authority through Christ. It's not about fear, it's about identity and obedience. So we have four scriptures today. The first one is James 4:7. Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Luke 10:19. And I have given you authority to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. Ephesians 6:11. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. And then 2 Corinthians 10:4. The weapons we fight are not the weapons of the world. They have divine power to demolish strongholds. So we have some insight from John Ramirez. He often emphasizes that the enemy works through deception, fear, and open doors. So here are some truths. Number one, the devil can't destroy what is fully surrendered to God. Number two, your authority comes from your identity in Christ, not your feelings. And number three, close the doors the enemy uses and he loses access. So the enemy gains ground through compromise, fear, and agreement with lies. We overcome by truth, surrender, and standing firm in Christ. So here are some questions to reflect on today. How do we overcome the enemy? Well, by submitting to God, resisting the devil, and standing on his word. Number two, what gives us authority over the enemy? Well, it's our identity in Christ and the authority that Jesus has given us. And number three, what are open doors? It's areas of sin, fear, or compromise that can give the enemy influence. So you don't fight the enemy with fear, you overcome him by standing in your identity, using God's word, and staying surrendered to Christ. So, what is the conclusion for today? Well, the enemy wants you to feel powerless, but the truth is, he is already defeated. When you walk in obedience and truth, you take away his influence, and victory comes from staying close to God. So, stay close to God today. If you feel like the enemy has been attacking your mind, your peace, or your life, today is the day to stand in the authority that Jesus has given you. Surrender every area to God and take your stand. Lord, we just surrender every area of our lives to you. Close every door that the enemy has tried to use. Remind us of our authority in Christ and help us to stand firm in truth. Strengthen us to resist the enemy and walk in victory in Jesus' name. Lord, thank you so much for already giving us this victory. Lord, help us to stand and put on the full armor of God daily, to stand firm against all the schemes of the enemy. Teach us to walk in your truth, to resist the devil, and to live in the authority that you have given us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Let's go. Amen, you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of turn the music down a lot. I don't even know if you guys can hear it because it's barely on. And we're gonna attempt to let me see if I can get this to work. Okay, so we're going to be playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. And yes, it's a light switch. A Switch Lite, guys. If I had a PS2 right, or not PS2, if I had a Switch 2 right now, we would be playing Pokopia. But what are we playing? This game, because it's the closest you can get to Pokopia. We're going old school today. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. Let's go. Welcome. This is the portal that leads to the world of Pokemon. But before I can let you through, I have several questions for you. I want you to answer them sincerely. Are you ready? As ready as I can be. Okay. Let the interview begin. Grab any digit on your left hand with your right hand. Which digit did you grab? Grab any digit on your left. What kind of questions are these? I grabbed my index finger, I think. I'm pretty sure I grabbed my index finger, yep. Do you tend to laugh a lot? I mean, yeah, I guess. Can you focus on something you like? No, I can't focus on anything. Your country's leader is in front of you. How do you speak to him or her? For what? Why would I be talking to my country's leader right now? I would be very nervous. It's the summer festival. Do you like carnivals? I love them, even though I don't like crowds. Crowds overwhelm me. Do you sometimes run out of things to do all of a sudden? No, I have way too much stuff to do. Is it a pleasant day at the beach? How do you feel? This feels great. Snore. I want to go home. This feels great. Probably both. I would probably, like, go in the water, look for shark teeth, and then sleep. So I guess it feels great right when I get there, you know? Do you like to noisily enjoy yourself with others? No. Are you a boy or girl? I'm a girl. You appear to be the jolly type. Always laughing and smiling. You uplift everyone around you. You love jokes. You have lots of friends, and you're popular where I'm popular wherever I go. That's funny. But sometimes you get carried away and say things that get you in trouble. Yep, probably. Definitely me. Yes, AJ. Amen. You should learn to think before saying or doing anything. Oh yeah. What does the Bible say? Be quick to listen and slow to speak, slow to get angry. A jolly person like you should be a Totodile. This is the final step. Who would you like to have as a partner? Choose the Pokemon you want as your partner from this group. Charmander, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Torchic, Trico. We're obviously gonna go with Pikachu, right? Right? That's just Pikachu! I keep telling you that you're famous. That's so funny. What's your partner's nickname? Pikachu, of course. Guys, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna have them be the names that they are. We're not gonna give them any nicknames because when I play Pokemon, I don't give them nicknames. Their nicknames are their names. Yes, Pikachu. We're all set. Yes. Let's get you into the world of Pokemon. Go for it. Okay, I'm ready. Where am I? Am I dreaming this? I feel a pleasant breeze. I hear a voice from somewhere. I wonder who it is. Is it you, Lord? Dot dot dot. Dot 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 dot. Dot 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 dot. Excuse me? Please wake up. Come on, wake up. I'm a Totodile. I wanted to be Pikachu. You're finally awake. Great. Oh, I guess I'm talking to Pikachu. Okay. Wait, I'm a Totodile. Where is this? You were passed out here. I'm glad to see you awake. Pikachu. I'm Pikachu. Glad to meet you. And you are? I've never seen you around here before. Huh? You're a human? But you look like a normal Totodile in every way. I'm a Pokemon, you guys. Oh my goodness. It's true. I have turned into a Totodile. But why? I don't remember anything. Why am I a Totodile? You're kind of weird. Hey! Your name? What's your name? Guys, did you see Pikachu's face? How rude. My name? That's right, my name is... Darn it, I can't be Totodile then. I wanted to name myself Totodile. But if I'm a human, then I have to be not Totodile. Okay, let's go with Pokey. We'll go with my name. Pokey. Pokey. Okay. Is the name Pokey okay? Yes, of course. Oh, Pokey's your name? Well, it's a funny name. Hey! This Pikachu is mean, okay? Somebody, please help me. What was that sound? Huh? I hear shouts from over there. Oh, it's a Butterfree. What's wrong? It's horrible. My Caterpie fell into a cavern. My poor baby. Ooh, we got some action, guys. What? A huge fissure opened in the ground and my Caterpie fell in. He's too young to crawl out by himself. When I went to get my baby, Pokemon suddenly attacked me. Oh no! We gotta save the baby. Huh? You were attacked? By other Pokemon? They must be enraged by the fissure and out of control. That's what I think. I'm not strong enough to fend off those wild Pokemon. I'm not strong enough to fend them off. What will become of my baby? Oh. What am I to do? Oh dear, oh dear. This sounds bad. We have to help. I guess we're gonna go help. Yeah, we're gonna go help. That's right. Head for the destination while attacking foes with A. Try not to let a partner faint. Picked up 34 G's. Pokey is the money in this world. Collect and save it to be and buy useful items. Proceed. We're going down the stairs. You see stairs? Go down them. Foes won't move until you do. Open the menu with B and think before you act. What do you mean open the menu with B? Proceed. There's berries! Ooh, it heals poisoning. Whee! Ooh, more berries. Why won't it let me? I can't pick it up anymore. Did I pick up all the berries I needed or something? Proceed. No, the poor little caterpie's crying. Mommy, where are you, Sniffle? We came to rescue you. Huh? Your mom's waiting. Let's get you out. Okay. The poor little caterpie. Aww. My baby's safe. I'm sorry. I don't know how I could ever thank you properly. That's okay. It's been dangerous lately with sudden quakes and fissures like that one. It was great to find your little boy unharmed. Please, may I have your names at least? I'm Pikachu, and this is Pokey. Cool. Oh, Von Reich! Oh my goodness! Hi, Von Reich. Thank you so much for subbing for 23 months, guys. Von Reich has a 23-month streak. Let's go. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Wait, I can do something. Hold on. It's a different marker because I ran out of the other ones. But thank you, Von Reich. Oh my goodness, guys, look. This was last year for Christmas time. Look at all these amazing people. Von Reich, thank you. I appreciate you. You are amazing, as always. How are you doing today? How are you? I'm sick. Hi, I'm sick. How are you? He's staring at me adoringly, of course, because it's a cute little caterpie. Those sparkling eyes. It's a little embarrassing. But this doesn't feel bad either. It's like I'm a hero. Helping Pokemon in trouble might be a good experience. Oh my goodness. You're good just chilling? Aw, I'm glad. So I have an update. I have to take off my brace. I have a brace for this hand when I'm playing. I told my hello. Hello? Hello? Okay, so I told my doctor that what I do for my job, and she's like, well, you gotta keep your brace on. Um, but I guess if you're live, you can take your brace off because you have to use it for your job. I was like, yes, ma'am. So, but on the 26th, I have a CT scan. They wanted to do a MRI, but my because I have a spinal cord stimulator, like the leads in my back, they can't do an MRI apparently. So I either have to get a surgery to get a spinal cord stimulator put back in my back, or I have to get the leads taken out. I was like, well, why didn't they just take out the leads when they took out the battery? So I'm going through all that. It's fun. Not really, but you know. Caterpie says thank you, Pikachu and Pokey. I know it isn't really enough, but this is a token of our thanks. Please accept it. I received the Oranberry. The team also received the item Pecha Berry and a Rostberry. Ooh. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Aw. So cute. Thank you for helping. You're very tough. I was sure impressed. So, what are you going to do? You have any plans? Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Listen, Pokey. If you don't have a place to stay, you should come with me. Hi, Moses. I hope I don't scare you away today, Moses. But I don't feel good. I feel worse than I did yesterday, okay? So I was like, there's no way I'm going to get ready and have my webcam today. But don't I look so cute as a little, what is it called, VTuber? I'm not as scary as you think, right? Huh? Pikachu. Well, this is the place. Oh my goodness! Look at the little. That's so. Oh my goodness! If I had if I had a Nintendo, it's okay. Oh my goodness, Moses! If I had a Nintendo 2 Switch, and I was able to play Pokepia, I would make this Pikachu's place. It's so cute! Oh my goodness! Guys, I want Pokepia so badly. Why does it have to be like $500 for a Switch 2? And then it has to be like $70 for the game. Wow. I can't explain, but I'm happy. I'm a human being, but I like this place. I feel weirdly happy. What kind of game is this? It might be an instinct thing for Pokemon. Yeah. Maybe this is what it feels like to, like, want to wag your tail. Wag your tail. It doesn't matter. I'm happy. Maybe I feel that way because I'm Totodile. Oh, Pokey, you're impressed, aren't you? I thought so. I thought this would make a good place for you to live, Pokey. I was sure I was sure you would like. Oh my god, can you talk today, Victoria? Look, I even have a mailbox. This is your mailbox. Wow. They deliver mail from Pokemon here. You know, just like the fissure Caterpie fell into, for some reason, there have been many natural disasters lately. Oh my goodness, not the natural disasters! Because of those natural disasters, many Pokemon are suffering! Well, apparently the humans suffered too. Just saying. I want to help Pokemon in these tough times. I want to help change things, so all the Pokemon can live in peace. So, well, I liked how you handled yourself when we rescued Caterpie. Would you like to join me on a rescue team? Pokey, with you, I think we could even become the world's best rescue team. How about it? What happens if I refuse? I'm gonna form a rescue team with you. Perfect. That's it then. Howdy, meowdy. Every time I hear howdy, I always think of that cat meme, and he has a little cowboy hat, and it just says meowdy. Oh no, ad break. No. Perfect. Then it's then. Okay, it is ads. I was right. I was right. Also, guys, remember to download Animals and Coins. I absolutely love this game. I will show you it real quick. So, I play it. I legit play this game, guys. I love this game. So with this ad, sub sponsorship, with Animals and Coins, you're gonna put in that little nice little click that on your phone if you got iOS, if you got an iPhone, and and then you can play with me. Like we can actually play with each other, which is pretty cool. But it's super easy to play too. I'm really bad at like playing days in a row though. But the cool thing about this game is that don't matter. So watch, spin, and win. I don't want to do it, but you can if you want. You can watch ads to get free things. But you don't have to. Ooh, cool. Definitely take advantage of all the free things. Free things are cool. We like free things. But yeah, I wasn't gonna do a sponsorship of a game I actually don't play, and I legit played this before they asked me to do the sponsorship, so I was like, yes. So I am currently on level. The only annoying thing is all that stuff, but it's all good. I'll show you what level I'm at. Hold on. I gotta fix all my things. Who would do that to me? Okay, so I'm at level 35. Level 35. Look at there. Level 35. But it's a fun game. Guys, if you're in the chat and you've already downloaded this game, let me know. Let me know if you've downloaded this game yet. Let me know. But yeah, this helps me out. So if you have an iPhone and you want to download this game, I'd appreciate it. Look, this is my friend Andrew. Um, we're not gonna attack him. You can choose to attack. Hold on. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Okay. So you can choose to attack, or you can tell them you're friends and then just attack someone else. That's what I do. So if you're my friend, I'm not gonna attack you. Like if you know I play regularly with you, we can work as a team, okay? So it's pretty fun. But yeah, this is the game. So and um you're just gonna take this on your phone, on your iPhone, and you're gonna download it through that um do that. But yeah, I like playing it, and my favorite thing is you can get enough to be able to get 3 perfects and then do an auto. There's like an auto thing, so you can like auto play it. See how it's auto now? So what I do is once I get to auto, I get like the highest thing I can, and then I click auto, and now it does it for me. So I don't even have to touch it, which is pretty cool. But I enjoy playing this game. Like I said, I wouldn't do a sponsorship of a game I actually don't play. And I played this game before they asked. So I was like, yes, of course. So, like I said, level 35, literally, you download it. Obviously, I want you to play with me and stuff, but just try getting to, like, I don't know, try getting to, try getting to Island 3. Try beating Takiria. Okay, that's it. Obviously, the more islands you do, um, I have how many days left? I have 5 days left of this. So obviously, the more islands you do, the more you help me out. Um, but yeah, Island 3. If you really want to go far, try to beat Desert Caravan. That one's a good one too to try to get to within 5 days. So yeah, start out, try to get to level 3 island, and then if you get that, try to do the desert caravan within 5 days. So yeah, it's a fun game. Hello. As that, it's super easy, hands free most of the time, especially if you use the auto. If you use the auto thing, it makes it really easy. So this guy, I've kind of learned how to play it. Let's see here. No, I did it wrong. Usually the third one doesn't do that. Oh well. I'm gonna quit it. Usually I know when to back out. Next island. Oh yeah, 36. Let's go. Sweet. Oh look, it's the game that I can't download. I'm sorry. I tried to do both of them because I think it would have been pretty easy at the same time to do both the iOS and the Android, but it said that it was filled already for the Android. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys. I know, and iOS only. I know. I'm sorry, but if it ever comes up for Android, we'll do it again. I want to do a competition to see who downloaded the most, iPhone or Android. And we're 5 days left into this, so just saying. It's a close. I didn't mean to do that. I fell off the cliff. I wasted a ladder. I meant to click this so I can buy more things. Oh, that's funny. I can't believe that. How are you doing, Wolverine? How are you today? Okay, after this, we're gonna take a break on this and play more Pokemon. Let's do that one. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm chilling. Work was a mess. Slow but not. Slow but not. Oh. Slow but not. Okay, where were we? Pikachu. We're partners in our rescue team from now on, Pokey. Glad you have to have you on board. The team name, well, I don't have one yet. So, Pokey, what do you think would be a good name for us? Um, Pokemon. Is the name Pokemon okay? Yes. Pokemon! I like it. It's a good name. It's perfect for us. Even though I'm a human. Slow enough to be boring, busy enough to be annoying. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Wolverine. I feel that though. Rescue team, Pokemon. Let's do good starting tomorrow. Yeah, look at us go. We're a great team. And that is how Pokey and Pikachu began their careers together as a rescue team. I love how I was just like, I woke up as a Pokemon, right? I'm human. I woke up as a Pokemon, and then that same day, I'm like, well, might as well just try to be a Pokemon forever. I have no idea how I got here, but I'm gonna stay a Pokemon as a rescue team. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. The next morning, good morning, you guys. Look at how cool this is! I'm still the same. The way I look, I'm still Totodile. But why would I be transformed into a Pokemon? dot dot dot. I don't understand this at all. Dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot. I feel groggy and sleepy. Not feeling well. I need more sleep. What am I doing? How is jumping being sleepy? Would you like to save your adventure? Yes. Saving your adventure. Please don't turn off power. Save completed. See, I slept more. Yay. Oof. I'm feeling refreshed. I still look like a Pokemon, but oh, that's right. That Pokemon. I think it was Pikachu. We made a promise to form a rescue team together. I wonder what Pikachu's doing. I should go out. Can I use this too? Pikachu? Huh? Oh no! Haha, sorry. I was so excited I came out here at the dawn to wait for you. I must have snoozed off. Anyway, today marks the start of our rescue team. Let's always do our best. Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. But anyway, we don't have any job offers yet. Ha ha ha. No job offers. Oh yeah, maybe there's something in the mailbox. Pikachu checked the mailbox. The mailbox contained a rescue team starter set. Wow, I knew it'd be here. That's the rescue team starter set. They always give you one if you start a rescue team. Does that mean there's more? Pikachu opened the rescue team starter set. There was a rescue team badge inside. There was a toolbox inside. There was also an issue of Pokemon news inside. Yes! There are some good things here. First off, the rescue team badge. It shows that we're a rescue team. This is a toolbox. You use it for carrying items you find in dungeons. Let's put the stuff Butterfree gave us in here for now. Items are very useful, so let's use them on our adventures. And finally, a copy of the Pokemon news. It's useful for rescue teams. I'll put the Pokemon news in the mailbox. You should read it later on. Yes, sir. Anything else? Is there any other mail? Maybe not. Pikachu checked the mailbox, but the mailbox was empty. Okay, so there isn't any mail for us after all. If there were any rescue jobs, we would be getting mail, but nobody knows about us since we're new. So new a team, I guess, haha. Flap, flap. Flap, flap. Clunk. Oh, I wonder what that could be. Pokey checked the mailbox. Maybe it's a rescue job offer. What does it say? Pokey read the letter. Buzz, buzz, buzz. I heard about you from Caterpie. Please, we need your help. Magnemite is in trouble. A strange electromagnetic wave flowed through a dungeon, and it stuck together Magnemite and Magnemite. That isn't enough to form Magneton. It's not complete the way it is now. Please, we need help. Buzz, buzz, buzz from Magnemite's friend. What do you think? Do you think we should go? Yes, of course. Let's go. That's the spirit. Let's do our best. Okay, we're gonna help out some Magnemites now, I guess. Thunder Wave Cave. Oh, you are here, Buzz Buzz. My friends are in this cavern, Buzz Buzz. My friends should be on B6 floor. Please help them, Buzz Buzz Buzz. Okay. We got this. Defeat foes using moves instead of attacks. Attacks for more experience points. Choose the set move you want to use. Yeah. Pikachu grew to level 6. Pikachu learned Tail Whip. Yes, I leveled up. Pikachu's HP went up to 3. Pikachu's attack went up to 2. Pikachu's defense went up to 2. Pikachu's attack went up to 2. Special attack, special defense up to 2. Oh, good for you. We're looking for stairs. Pokey grew to level 6. I did it! I leveled up! I went up to level 4. My attack went up to 3. My defense went up to 1. My attack went up to 1. Defense 1. Yay. Proceed. Okay, we gotta get to level 6. Pikachu went to level 7 and leveled up. Let's go. I'm not gonna say all that stuff every single time. B3. Hold B, then press this to speed up movement. What is happening? I am pressing B. What is this? I don't know. So I'm not gonna click it. If you don't know what it is, don't step on it. Eat an apple or gummy when your belly goes down. Being famished can cause fainting, so check your belly in the menu. What do you mean? Belly 87. What? What? No! The next morning, I failed, you guys. I failed. Oh no. Well, that's not fun. I failed my mission. Yeah, 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 yeah. Morning, Pokey. We failed Magnemite's mission badly yesterday, didn't we? Yes. Let's try to do it right today. Failed the tutorial mission? Wow, it takes skill. Hey, that's not a tutorial mission. The first one was. This was a real mission, Wolverine. There's a warning tag on the side of the mailbox. Open the mailbox at the front. Check mailbox. Welcome to rescue team. Read. No. Your badge has the power to send back to town any Pokemon you've rescued. Just hold the badge up and it does the rest. By completing rescue jobs, you will be awarded points. The dungeon isn't that way. Thunderwave Cave is the other way. We have to hurry. Wow. How am I supposed to know it's this way? The dungeon isn't that way. What in the world? Okay, let's try it again. We got this. We can do this. We have to get to B6. Ooh, Pikachu learned Thunder Wave. Nice. Oh, let's go. Okay, let's see. Okay. Pikachu's attack went to 2. Proceed. Rocks can be lobbed at foes. Okay. I think my mistake was I followed the Poochyena because I wanted to chase it instead of just going and finding the stairs. Hello? Hello? Guys, this B button does not work very well. We need to find it. Proceed. Oh my goodness. That was a close one. Was it faster doing it this way? Or it might be easier using this down here. I'm alive! Guys, I made it just in time. I almost unalive. Again! That would have been bad. Oh, there they are. Let's get them out of safety. Yay! We did it! Our bodies separated. Buzz buzz, rejoice! Buzz buzz! Buzz, yay! Yay, buzz buzz! Be thankful, you two. You are our hero. Thank you. Buzz buzz. Guys, if I would have missed this one again, that would have been so bad. Pokey's team received the reward of 500 Pokey. The team also received the item Reviver Seed. The item also received, the team received the Rothberry. Oh my goodness. Whew. Fainted, you almost fainted. Pokemon don't die. Okay, stop. You don't have to get so technical with me. I'm glad our rescue team went well today. Actually, since this was our first job as a proper rescue team, I was really tense and nervous. Me too, Pikachu, me too. I'm exhausted now. I've got to go get some sleep. Let's keep up the good work tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Okay, bye. See you tomorrow. Would you like to save? Yes. Hello. Hey. Ryu. Is it Ryu or Ryu? Well, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. I mean to say you don't have to use the TikTok word unalive. You know, I'm just so used to saying unalive. It's okay. I'm so used to being family friendly. Thank you very much. However, you prefer. I prefer to name you your actual name. So if your name is Ryu, then I'll call you that. If it's Ryu, then I'll call you that. See, exactly. We're just used to saying it. You know? we're we're just used to it. I still cringe when I hear unalived. I'm sorry. I'm just used to it because I'm a family friendly streamer, okay? I never thought about how it's pronounced in English. Oh, is it like you roll your R? I can't roll my R's. Some might say I die a little inside. Oh my goodness. Where am I? Maybe this is a dream. Oh, there's someone here. Who is it? Someone I know? I can't remember. What will happen next? Dun dun dun. Guys, this is a really fun game to play until you can get the Switch 2. if you can't get the Switch 2, just get this, okay? Use your light, play this game. I know. Watch other people play Pokopia until you can, okay? That's what I'm doing. But you guys know, as soon as I get Pokopia, as soon as I get a Switch 2, there will be so many streams of that. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Ah! I think I dreamt something, but I can't quite remember what that dream was about. Oh well, today is another day of rescues. Yay! I wonder if I have any mail. Better check the mailbox. Guys, Magmortar escaped. You guys gotta catch the Pokemon. Okay. Pokey checked the mailbox, but there was no mail seeking help from the rescue team. Good morning, Pokey. Aren't you up early? Obviously. I was so excited to check the mail before the mail guy even came. Oh, so you checked the mailbox? So, was there anything? Were there any rescue requests? No? Huh? Empty? I suppose so. We've only started after all. Well, too bad. I want to go to Pokemon Square. I think if we go to the Pelipper post office, there'll be jobs posted. Pokemon Square is over this way. Let's go. Ooh. This is Pokemon Square. I have none Switch Lite or Switch 2. I mean, I just got a Switch Lite because my friend gave it to me because he's awesome. I mean, I used to have a regular Switch, but and I had an old Animal Crossing game that I used my ex-boyfriend Switch with, but um yeah, obviously I no longer in relationship, no longer have Switch game. So but my friend was very nice to give me this, and my brother gave me Animal Crossing, so we'll actually be playing Animal Crossing as well, which I'm super excited about. Is this your first time playing a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game? Actually, probably. I don't think I ever played a Mystery Dungeon game. I obviously grew up playing like original Game Boy Pokemon Fire Red, um, Heart Golds, Emeralds, all that stuff. You know, like the old games, and then after watching the anime and watching up till like May, and then they started doing Dawn with all the like the outfits and stuff that you could go do little fashion shows. I kind of stopped watching. Um but I've always loved like the movies where right before the movie like you're like watching Pikachu in the mall, you know? So that's why I really want to play Pokopia because oh my goodness, like you know, you play as Ditto and you get to like interact with the Pokemon kind of like the little short movies and it's just so cute. You still have your Pokemon Heart Gold for DS? Nice. Yeah, I somewhere I would have to find it. I have a Hope chest that has like my original Game Boy in it, like my pink Game Boy. What's your opinion on the game so far? This is really cute actually. I kind of like it. Um it's definitely different from the other games. This is Pokemon Square. Oh my goodness, Kecleons! Oh, that's the Kecleon shop. But I kind of wanted to play this because I can't play Pokopia, and I know like it's different because in Pokopia you're actually a Ditto, but in this game you're a human that turned into a Pokemon. So it's a little different, but I'm like this is the closest I can get to since I can't play Pokopia right now. So oh, it's a Kecleon shop. You can buy and sell items there. And that's Felicity Bank. You can save your money there. And this is the Gulpin Link shop. Gulpin can link moves for you. Huh? What's linking? Well, if you link moves, you can use them at the same time. I think you should ask Gulpin if you want to know more. And this is Kangaskhan storage. If you store items here, they'll never go missing. You should store important items here before you go out on any dungeon adventure. What do you think? The businesses here help us. Oh, and there's also Pelipper Post Office. That's up past here. I think we can get some information on job rescue jobs. Let's first go to the Pelipper Post Office. What is that? I heard fissures have opened up in the ground here and there. They're trouble for everyone. It worries me to no end, thinking that children will fall down into them. Oh no. That's it? Okay, bye. Where's the post office? Hello, welcome to the Gulpin Link shop. Link moves all you like for just 150 Pokemetal. Proceed. Good, now who wants to link moves? Pokey, moves. Scratch. Link. With rage. Link. Too bad there are no moves that can be linked. Set. Pikachu, moves. Ooh. Link. 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 Oh, that's how you do it. Link. D-Link. Link. 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 Oh, there you go. Shall we go on? Yes. Good. Now who wants to link moves? Okay, I already did that. No. Okay, bye. Now. Hello there. Welcome to Kangaskhan Storage Store. What would you like to store? You can have my rocks. Yes. I love how they're like put important stuff in your storage. I don't want these rocks, so you can store my rocks. Nope, that's it. That's all. That's all, folks. Let's buy some stuff. Hello, welcome to Kekleon. Well, re-examine my merchandise. An apple? What do apples do? Buy. Ooh, a big apple. Buy. That's it. What about you? Hidden power? Escape orb. Warp orb. Ooh. Wait, this person had something else. Let's see. Max elixir. Okay, that's it. Whee! Ooh. It appears no one's inside. There's a notice posted on the back. Under construction, keep out. Makuhita Dojo. Okay. So, Pikachu. Where is the post office? Is this the post office? That building is the post of. Well, okay, thank you for letting me know. Oh my goodness, it's in the shape of a Pelipper! Wow. This was where information is gathered from Pokemon needing rescue in various locations. See? Have a look at this bulletin board. Ooh. It lists rescue jobs. Check it out. Deliver one oranberry to the tiny woods. I'm sad and lonely, tiny woods. I'm in trouble. I can't seem to get out. I'm sad and lonely. Accept. See? Or their job listed, right? To do a job, you have to select it with accept. Then on the job list, choose the job and confirm it with take job to go to that rescue mission. If you don't select take job, you can't do that rescue job even if you go to that dungeon. Since we're just starting up, we should handle the jobs that are posted here. Our team name will get better known by doing that. I think that will bring off job offers to our mailbox. And if you want to go to a rescue mission, choose the job on the job list. Then select take job. Try to always do that before you leave. Take job. I lost in a battle. Gaps. Wah. Plush. Plusle. Help me. Tiny woods. B3. B3, huh? Okay. Let's see. B3. Okay, we got this, you guys. We can do this. We gotta go to B3. Ooh. grew to level 9. Let's go. Yes, I leveled up. Way to go, Pikachu. I'm so proud of you. Good job, buddy. B3. Okay, this is where we're at. We need to find whoa, Pikachu. Guys, there's a mine in. Everybody pokey catch. Oh my goodness. I can't go down the stairs. We have to find Plusle. What are we supposed to do here? It won't let me talk to it. Oh, yes, Plusle was found. Now it will. The rescue team badge to save Plusle? Yes. The rescue team stone on Plusle gained a magical power. Thank you. Come see me at the Pelipple post office later. Plusle escaped from the dungeon. The mission has been completed. Would you like to leave now? Yes. Why would I stay in here? Do you want to really leave? Yes. 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 Oh my goodness, that's crazy. No one caught Mina. No. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ooh, fancy. Thank you for rescuing me. Here's your reward. 100 Poki. Ooh. 5 rescue points. Nice. Didn't we do good today? Let's call it a night and get some rest. Okay, see you tomorrow. Yes. Always save your adventure, you guys. Always save your adventure. Because sometimes you get so upset that something happened that you just turn off the game and then open it back to where it was before. I used to do that a lot. A lot. Okay. Also, if you guys like reading, my friend Eden is reading non-spicy books. At what time is she doing it? Where is my Discord? Okay. Today at in 49 minutes, so in 50 minutes, she is reading. Here, she forgot to do this, so let me at everyone. So in 48 minutes, she'll be in the book reading section. So if you like hearing people read books to you, she is reading a really awesome series that I have been enjoying. It's well, technically she's reading 2 different series. She's reading the Sweet Peach series and then this other series, but we're going back and forth between the books because yeah. But it's a good book. It's that the series that she's reading, so but yeah, we do lots of stuff in our Discord, So if you want to join our Discord, feel free to. We have movie nights, we have Bible studies, um, we have game nights, lots of fun things planned, hang out, movie nights, all of the above. So if you're not part of the Discord, join the Discord. I would love to see you. It would be awesome. Okay. Good morning, Pokey! Flap, flap. Did we get mail? Clunk. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yay! Oh my goodness. I just want to feel better. Check mail. I can't seem to get out. Number 2, rescue team basics. Read. Saving your adventure in Pokemon news. You can save your adventure by going to your bed. Thanks. I already know that. Info. I was done in Sunkern. Help me. Tiny Woods B3. Accept. Take the job, guys. Don't forget to take the job. Can't do it if you don't take the job. Tiny Woods. Okay. Let's see here. We have to get to B3. Why I keep missing? What in the world? Wow. Okay. Let's see. Proceed. Okay. B3. There we go. I fell asleep. Yay! We found it. Yes. Why would you not want to leave right after you did the mission? Unless you want to find like more berries and coins, I guess, or fight more. I don't know. I guess that would be why you would stay longer. The cool thing about this is not only can I do like games on my light until I get a Switch and a what's it called? Um where you can stream it on the PC screen capture until I get that. I can use this, but like for instance, if I want to have a Lego day, let's say I want to do a Lego, I could literally just like make this go up higher and then just like work on Legos with you guys Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Oh, we got ads. And while we got ads, it is time for the other thingy. This is the link you're gonna press. This is for iOS only. Ooh. Oop. Okay, so we're playing this game right now. This is the game that we're doing the ad for. I am at level 36 now. I just got to level 36 today, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is the game that you're gonna just use the link down below to use it, and it's pretty easy to play. I like this game. I play this game in my free time. I play this game and then I play Pokemon Go. I like that game as well. That game's fun. But it's a fun game. I enjoy it. We gotta save the animals. You know. Let's try to save Phil. Phil needs to be saved. And you can collect stuff too, which is pretty cool. We like collecting cards and things like that. Like I said, the best way to play this game is watch ads, and then you get things, so you can play longer. But yeah, so that's what I'll do when I'm playing Animals and Coins. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go down to less of a bet. Since I only have 23, I'll kind of show you guys. Hold on. Oh, never mind. I got 200. I'll keep it at 10 then. Okay, so I'm gonna do auto, and then just let it auto do. Let it auto. Like I said, I have 5 days left on this, so and guess who's still gonna play this game after the sponsorship? Me, because I played it before. Like I said, I'm never gonna do a sponsorship of a game I actually don't enjoy playing, okay? getting tired. Just a little bit. Also, just a reminder, we're starting in 37 minutes the book reading. So, we're probably going to get off right before that. So if you guys are not a part of the Discord, join the Discord. Listen to my friend Eden read us a book. Like I said, it's a non-spicy rom-com. I believe it's called Close the Door. No spiciness. We're a family friendly channel and Discord, so we're a safe streamer. Okay. I love the auto thing on this. The auto thing is so cool. I love it. I wonder if I move this way a little bit, if my adjust please. Thank you. We like it when it auto adjusts. We love it when it auto adjusts. Oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, where is my hairbrush? I need to set up a thingy. I'll have to do that at another time. I'll have to do it another time. Okay. But yeah, this is the basics of the game. I enjoy it. Like I said, I'm at like level 35. For those who do download it, it is for iOS only. Try to get to Island 3. And if you beat Island 3, like I said, the sponsorship ends in 5 days. So if you can possibly get past Island 7 within 5 days, that would help me out tremendously. It would mean a lot. So, like I said, first goal is try to get past Island 3 within 5 days. My friend did it within like 20 minutes. So, yeah, you can probably get to Island 7 within like 2 to 3 days. Super easy, super chill. So, like I said, I have 5 days left on this. So, if you feel led, beat Island 3 and then get up to past Island 7. So, but just downloading it helps me out. If you just install the game using my link, it helps me out. And it would mean the world to me. Like I said, it is iOS only, so if you have an iPhone and you can download it, I'd truly appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. Like, you don't even know how much it would mean to me. So, I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are all amazing. There we go. Oh my goodness, that gets so annoying sometimes. I love autofocus, but at the same time, it is really hard when you're trying to do it from like this position, like down here. You know, like art wise, this is I call it the art section. If I'm doing art or Legos or like using the light this way. Sunkern, thank you for rescuing me. Here's your reward, 200 Pokey. Ooh, 200. We're at 5 rescue points. Let's go. Didn't we do good today? Let's call it a night and get some rest. Okay, see you tomorrow. Let's go. I wonder how long this game is. Like, do you just endlessly get things to help rescue Pokemon, or is there actually an ending to this? Would you like to save your adventure? Yes. You know? That's a good question. A good question to ask. Another dream. See, I keep on having dreams, so you think because you're having dreams, like eventually something's gonna happen. Like you're gonna turn into a Pokemon, or you're gonna have the choice to like stay a Pokemon or become a human again. Again? Am I dreaming again? It's that Pokemon again. Huh? They're talking to me. I can't hear them clearly. What are they saying? Huh? It's shaking! An earthquake! Whoa, it's getting worse. For a dream, this feels strangely real, but the next morning. Huh? Hello? Man, I keep on having weird dreams here. The dreams are weird. Hello? You? You are Pokey? Aren't you? Yes? Oh, you can't see us, of course. How very rude of us. Drug Trio! We're pleased to meet you. We are Doug Trio. Last night, during the earthquake, our child Diglett was attacked. He was whisked away to the peak of the tall mountain. We cannot possibly climb somewhere up so high. That is why we must call upon you for your help, Pokey. Diglett was abducted by a Pokemon named Skarmory. Oh no. It's a very vilely vicious ruffian. Please, do be careful. Please, we need your help. We must go. Oh my goodness. Dun dun dun. That was so sudden. There was no time to even say no. It's too bad. I'd better go. I need to tell Pikachu right away. Pikachu! Good morning, Pokey. Huh? You were just asked to go on a rescue mission? Yes. Our child Diglett was kidnapped. Oh my goodness, no. He was taken to Mount Steel Summit. Please, we need your help. Bye-bye. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Okay. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Why is this so cute? It's so weird at the same time. This game is cute but weird at the same time. You know. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, let's go. To Mount Steel. Mount Steel. Here we are, Mount Steel. So Diglett was whisked to its peak. That's right. The peak is 9F. Thank you for helping. Farewell. 9F, huh? Okie dokie. Let's go. Let's go to the peak. Let's go to the ninth floor. Ooh, so that's what linking does. Okay, I gotta make sure there's no, whatchamacallits. Like, I don't miss a floor. Ooh, money. Let me help! Let me help! Let me move up there! Pikachu's getting all the action! Aw, you have a blessed night too, AJ. It was good seeing you. Oh, I don't want no rocks. Why is none of the items? We're not gonna make this one. I guarantee we're not gonna make this one. I can't even find a berry that can help me. Ugh. Well, way to go, Pikachu. You're doing great. Ooh. That should help a little bit, at least. That should help us. That should help. Ooh, that was a close one. I don't think we would have made it if I didn't take that. We need to find more orange berries. no. Of course. Oh, did I have a revive thingy? I think I used a revive thingy. Guys, you use one wrong move, one wrong turn. It's like a maze. And then you almost die. We got this, Pikachu. We're only on the second level, but we got this. We can do it. We can get to level 9. Well, that happened. We lost. Oh. Wait, someone can actually come into the game and help you? Oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that. Yep, the next morning. So sad. I know, I didn't make it. So sad. Okay. Good morning, Pokey. We couldn't do it yesterday, so let's be sure to do it this rescue today. I can't believe I failed again. I failed again. Hold on. Hello. A food that heals the Pokemon's burn. Poisoned. Can revive a fainted Pokemon. Fills up the Pokemon. Knocks a distant target flying. If the target hits a wall or another Pokemon, it sustains damage. Changes the status of foes in the room. Reveals the location of unclaimed items on the floor. Switches the user's position with another Pokemon, however distant. Huh. Interesting. No, you know what I'm gonna do though? I'm gonna take back my rocks. Because those gave like 20 damage. Take. Take. All of them. Yep, I want my rocks back. That's it. Did I lose everything else? I think I lost everything else. How rude. Wow. So sad. Okay, well, I think we're gonna save it and call it there. I, I, I think, um, I think that's what we're gonna do. I think that is what we're going to do. Why? Why is it making me look all the way that way? Weird. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Um, who do we want to go say hello to today? It's been a while. Let's go plus my brother. He's live. Um, he's playing Hollow Knight. I know it's not Pokemon, but um, wait. Yeah. Okay. Last the raid message. Make sure you save the raid message. Everybody save the raid message. Everyone raid out with me. Thank you all for being here. I will see you guys next time.